All right, today we're going to talk about metrics and how they tell you the story, how your product is doing. It really will tell you whether your product is doing well or not. It will also help you see the weak areas. And of course, you got to know for sure what to look for and where to look. So the questions you should ask yourself is my product easy to understand? And is it easy to get started with my product? Does it require a login? Do you have to register before you even start browsing and get through to first few pages? So I'll give you an example. If you think about the websites in the last 5-10 years, it used to require the registration, it used to require a login, and that's how customers would be lost, because oftentimes you don't, as a customer, you don't even know whether you are going to need this website or not. And so you are less interested in going through the entire process and making so many steps to get to it. Now, the second wave was when, think about all the different websites when they switched to offering you to easily access via login with existing registrations, like via Facebook or Google. If you have Gmail account, you would be easily able to log into all these websites. And then later on, you ended up being here, where you can oftentimes browse through any website as a guest. Even if it's a shopping cart, e-commerce website, you would still be allowed to just go browse, pick your products, customize them. Maybe it's like your size, your color, and then you still put it on the cart. And while you're putting it in the cart, you still are not logged in, which is totally fine. Then you go to the process of paying for your purchases, and then you decide whether you still want to kind of check out as a guest or as a user of this platform. So what it did is it continuously iterated itself to the point where there's fewer steps that you have to make while understanding what this whole platform is about and understanding, okay, I actually need this product. So this is just one of the examples, and that's one of the jobs of a product manager. Now, it seems to be simple, but it actually takes several iterations to get to a better state. And again, it is the part of the job. It seems like it's easy, but it actually takes continuous work. And the work of product manager never stops. So this is an example of Amazon.com. It did not look like this in the beginning. And yes, I have an account so I can browse, but even if I log out, I can still browse before I even log in. Now, some of the things that are easier to kind of get, there's so many different metrics, and which ones should you be using? So the Google Heart Framework example is pretty good because it covers 5 different areas: happiness, engagement, adoption, retention, and task success. And so you pick a goal, you decide which ones are signals for that goal, and which ones are the metrics. So these are examples, right? Like for happiness, users find the app helpful, fun, and easy to use. And the signal would be responding to service, leaving 5-star ratings, and the metrics would be Net Promoter Score, which you can also Google and find out what that is. But basically, you can even find online a Net Promoter Score surveys where you just go through a few questions as a customer, and that will tell, out of 100%, what is the score, like happiness score of a customer using your platform. So examples like that. And then engagement usually means users enjoy app content and keep engaging it. So the churn ratio, how many people come back every day or every month? How many returning customers do you have? Those are the types of things you would want to track in this field. Then the next one is adoption. So new users see the value in the product or new feature. So how many downloads do you have? How many signups? How many new users are coming in? And how much do they use like new features? The retention is all about users keep coming back. So the engagement and retention, those are very close, and it's really it's easy to confuse them and hard to split. But you can decide which one is closer to the engagement and which one is closer to retention just based on your product. Some products are internal products in the corporate world where the churn rate may not mean as much because, maybe it's only for niche type of customers anyway. Or maybe it has specific timing that it's used for, and then we don't care if people use it or not. And where you compare it to like a B2C, where it's just for public use, it's kind of like Airbnb or Amazon.com, where retention means more. And then task success. Users complete their goal quickly and easily. So the speed of how many steps you actually have to take to complete the goal, and how much time it actually takes you, things like that. And I would recommend to review one of the YouTube videos that exist already, that gives you more a breakdown of heart framework. Additionally, I would be able to show you a little bit of a sample of my own. So in my own product, I track NPS score, so Net Promoter Score. I also track average time to deploy a new app, and my product is very much internal use. My customers are internal. And then I also track the average number of services per month created, and that's one of the important action items on my website. Number of applications that we have internally, meaning that ties to the adoption. How many teams have started using this application, this solution, and number of deployments that's internally to us as a team that work on this platform. It's important to also see the number of deployments. And so what I'm saying in this example is that you don't necessarily need to pick all the metrics for each one of these areas. You can pick one metric per area, or maybe you have two in happiness and one in adoption, whatever works for you, for your specific product. All right. So what else do we need to know? Google Analytics and Matomo.com, those are the good analytics platforms that I'd recommend to use. There's many other ones, but just on the example of Google Analytics, you can easily see the users numbers for month or last 7 days, and you can customize it easily as well. This is dummy data, so it has no tying to any of the specific products. And you can also see the revenue, the conversion rate, and how many sessions during this period of time there were on your platform. You can definitely track behavior. You can also create your own customized report where you focus on specific areas that are interesting to you and tell you the story of the progress. All right. And a few tips and tricks that I have honestly taken from other very good product managers. So ways to measure your product being easy to get started are 3. people who do one valuable thing, measure a funnel of your initial user experience, and speed to doing valuable things. How many steps does it take your customer to complete action? And top tips and tricks. One is so those newspaper sign-ups, email and text confirmations will actually have significant drop-off. So those are things that usually you end up being unsubscribing from. So maybe don't use it. And then the other tip is to constantly iterate on your initial user experience, and let users into the product before asking them to sign up. So they need to be able to easily walk into it without any like sign up and stuff like that. The thing I want to share is that as a product manager, the more you work on your product, the more biased you become. And what ends up happening if you do not iterate, if you do not try new things, if you do not keep looking at different metrics, you already have like a story in your head what your product is all about and how it's doing, and you only look for metrics that kind of reconfirm the statement that you already made, and that's where your product usually starts becoming less and less valuable because it doesn't progress, it doesn't look for new solutions. So please be mindful of that. We all are biased in one way or another, and keep asking those questions why. Keep asking your customers questions that are open-ended, so that they can explain things and don't put the words in their mouth. And that's it for today.